I'm very bad at this job, I guess.
Gonna make this one a double because neither really deserves its own post. I work at an auto manufacturer, and a previous job I held had me making hoods for two styles of car, that we'll call A and B. I had worked at this spot, at this point, longer than anyone else on the team, and was well aware of how to keep it running. We put parts in a machine, press a button, put more parts in another machine, press a button, repeat ad infinitum. A quirk of the robots is that they don't like to work on A and B at the same time. So if you swap, you've gotta run out all the in-process parts before you start new ones. 8 hoods fit on a rack, so you finish a rack before swapping, obviously. The system doesn't deal with partials. The task of swapping was up to the person working, usually, and unless things got wonky, it was pretty easy to anticipate how often you switch, or you could go check the line.
Most management accepted this because if the line is moving, they're happy. Introducing Wayne. Wayne got hired from the line as per diem, which is to say he gets a small pay raise and the anger of the rest of us union members for selling out. Wayne wants to make a name for himself, so he does little checkups on people working on hoods. He's lucky enough to catch me sitting around waiting for parts to run out not once, but 3 times in about 2 weeks. This prompts him to puff himself up and tell me I need to keep moving so we don't run out of parts. I can't just sit around waiting. I shrug and say okay. So while he watches, I start putting A parts in while B parts are still cycling through. Immediate faults. I sit down and wait for skilled trades to come fix it. Few minutes later, I'm moving. I put more parts in, faults again. Skilled trades comes back. By now the B parts have finished going through, and skilled trades asks why I'm not waiting. I shrug again and gesture to Wayne. Wayne, did you know it was gonna fault? Me, shrug, just doing what you told me. Part 2. Wayne is still my manager, and hasn't learned much. He decides that since we ran out of A hoods once, he needs to be more involved in telling people when to swap between A and B. Note, this happened because we had a new team member who hadn't quite gotten the hang of it. They caused less than a minute of downtime because they swapped too late. People frequently tried to do mass builds of A then B, rather than swap more frequently. So A tells us that we don't switch unless he or the team leader says so.
You got it, boss. So I happily build A parts. It must have been a busy day, because I don't see my team leader or Wayne for hours. One of the drivers comes back to ask me if I'm gonna build B parts, and I explain what I've been told. She tells me, well, I'm running out of racks. But whatever. She's been there a while, has seen it all, and is down to let it ride. Finally, Wayne comes back in a rush to tell me to switch to B hoods. Sure thing, boss. Unfortunately, Wayne is just a little too late. By now, the line has 0 B hoods. And 0 empty racks. The robots are chock full of A hoods as well. No racks can be emptied because the line can't move, unless they want to shove them in the repair hole and attach hoods later. And I can't get my B hoods out because my robots are full.
The line stops for a full 20 minutes and we're told to use our best judgment in the future. I just shrug and go back to work as usual.
After all these years, I still don't see how clueless people get into leadership roles and cause financial problems to the company. They screw stuff up and upper-level management never seems to notice. It would be easy to dismiss as just stories here, but in my 45 years of working I've seen it happen. With my own eyes. I just don't get it.
This story feels like it takes place in that factory Eminem works at in 8 Mile.
First seek to understand, and then to be understood. All new managers should understand this concept.
Can you explain why Wayne getting a raise is a bad thing?
Peter, principal at work.
You'd think someone who came from the line would know better than to just assume things rather than question why it's done that way to begin with. But then this sub probably wouldn't exist. Dwayne is always gonna be the problem. Chesterton's fence, yet again. Do people never learn? Is this an EV manufacturer located in Fremont, CA or Austin, Texas? I appreciated the malicious compliance in this post. But when this guy asked you to do something different, did you at least once say, "This is gonna cause a problem"? What can Wayne do to become a better manager? Sometimes I feel like I'd be more likely to see a unicorn than a manager that's competent at literally anything ever. I'm guessing that per diem means a manager? Someday AI will take over for Wayne, so no worries. Then you can really blame a computer for the foo.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.